एक मिनट रुक जाओ, रेडी होने दो। चलो ये कर लेते हैं। दिस कुड बी अ ग्रेट इंट्रो।
Hi, I'm Akshay.
Hi, this is Saurabh, and you are listening to the Founder Thesis podcast. We meet some of the most celebrated startup founders in the country.
And we want to learn how to build a unicorn.
Don't forget to subscribe through htsmartcast.com, Spotify, Apple, or any other audio streaming platform.
Hi, this is Dinesh Agarwal. I'm a founder and CEO of IndiaMART.com, India's B2B marketplace for small and medium enterprises. Nowadays, large enterprises also use that.
Picture this: a boy who grew up in the 70s in a small town near India-Nepal border, growing up surrounded by actual freedom fighters and living through the infamous emergency period. This boy, who could hardly speak English during his school days, went on to do an engineering degree and lived the dream of working in the Silicon Valley in a software role. Would you believe me that today his company is a $3 billion publicly listed company and the biggest B2B marketplace in India? You may have already guessed it. In this episode, Akshay Dutt is talking to Dinesh Agarwal, founder of IndiaMART and a true patriot at heart. Here's Dinesh talking about his early career after completing his engineering degree.
So I think I learned the tips and tricks of optimization of technology at CDOT.
Okay.
I still even today when something has to be optimized, I give examples कि यार उस दिनों में 32 KB की मेमोरी में एक कार्ड में हम लोग इतना कुछ कर लेते थे कि आप और अभी आप लोग 32 GB के रैम में भी काम नहीं कर पा रहे हो. So there must be something wrong with the software. It is the hardware has improved thousands and thousands of times over the last 25 years. It is the software which has deteriorated thousands and thousands of times.
Okay.
And I keep giving this example that if you open up the Microsoft Excel of 1992, 1994, and if you use the Microsoft Excel today of 2020, you will not find a single difference. So those were वहाँ पे मेरे को I think काफी सीखने को मिला in C dot in terms of programming, in terms of discipline of programming, in terms of complex programming, modular programming. And those were the days when 1992 में there was a everybody started to migrate to US, especially the computer science engineers, and I was initially not very interested. That I wanted to do more of a systems engineering and do R&D here for India. So India and computers have always been my two loves.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and I used to hate the concept of all Indian IITians or all Indian engineers going to US and doing work for US and and Europe and trying to automate things there. But it is not benefiting India other than bringing some few dollars of remittance. So though it helped economy by bringing remittance and by bringing exports, but it actually didn't help the working conditions in India. It didn't. Nobody made software for India.
Yeah. So this patriotism must have come from your grandfather.
Yes, a lot. I know. I had a lot of influence. I think I have. My grandfather used to, tell me stories whenever कुछ भी होता था तो any anecdotal stories he would tell. The गांधी जी जब थे तो वो ऐसा करते थे. And that stayed with me. And my grandmother used to read and listen to Ramayana quite a bit at home. So I think the two big influencers are Ramcharitmanas and Gandhi on my thing. So in 1992, towards September, October, I also went to US from HCL. And HCL America में मैं वहाँ गया तो Sunnyvale में that was a very unique experience, first time experience going to US, very different. I think I learned a lot of quality work there because चलता है नहीं चलेगा. In US there's a lot of quality consciousness, but at the same time I think the speed of work is way too slow. So you are given all kind of computers, all kind of facilities, all kind of best of the offices, but I think the work per week that you supposed to do were hardly 10-12 hours. वैसे कहने को वो 40-50 घंटे का होता था, but in general, because this was a new field and most people would take a lot of time, and in general try to do better planning and everything. But I think so. I found in US my 2-3 years working at different projects. I found the pace of work was slower, but it was very high quality work. People were, and I think that has helped me in IndiaMART to do work which is a better quality, which is error free, at which has a very fundamentally right thing. So I think C dot and my US instant gave me a very good perspective on technology. So I think I fortunately I stayed in US for almost like 3-4 years, एंड 6-6 महीने के 8-8 महीने के 3-4-5 प्रोजेक्ट्स हमने किए वहाँ पे, अलग अलग कंपनीज में, अलग अलग जगहों पे, एंड दे वर मोस्टली रिलेटेड टू software dealing with interconnectivity and so I networking related software, and I saw really the internet happening in US. मतलब इंटरनेट बिल्कुल शुरू हो रहा था, बिकॉज एज आई सेड 1991 में 1990 में हम पेजर यूज कर रहे थे. 1991 में जब मैं सी डॉट में था तो वहाँ हम ईमेल यूज करते थे. जब हम यूएस पहुंचे तो वहाँ पे हम इंटरनेट पे यूजनेट स्टोरीज यूज करते थे, न्यूज ग्रुप्स होते थे. सो आई वाज वेरी अर्ली एक्सपोजर टू इंटरनेट. There were few incidences when I had to find some information, and in a very structured environment in US, going to library or trying to find information over the phone was difficult. And in those early days of internet, trying to find information on internet was easier and better. But it was all text-based internet. The you need to log in, you need to telnet, you need to go FTP, you need to do. There was no World Wide Web, and I remember I was in a lab, and there's a girl on the other side, Chinese girl, who's opening computer, and she was clicking on this Mosaic browser. And the first time I saw that globe, as she clicked Mosaic browser, um, and the entire instead of the instead of the text-based internet where you have to log in, download the file, and open, everything was happening on the click, because HTTP protocol makes it easier, and the pictures were coming, the text was coming. So मुझे ऐसा फील हुआ एज इफ द कन्वर्जेंस जैसे नहीं फील होता है. So I felt like this is the God, and it is going to eat and software is going to eat the entire world.
Yeah, okay, okay.
I actually felt that way.
Yeah,
मतलब वो आप महाभारत में वो देखते हो ना, भगवान के मुंह से अंदर से पूरा ब्रह्मांड दिखता है.
अच्छा.
I actually felt that way.
Okay, okay.
So I could see the convergence, because I always used to think, यार ये टेलीविजन के ऊपर या ये वीडियो मुझे कहीं से एंटर करना है या मुझे रेडियो सुनना है, मैं वो अपना गाना अपने आप से क्यों नहीं सुन सकता? This tape record or a video cassettes are way too restrictive. Why can't we have video on demand? Why can't we have songs on demand? Why can't we have information on demand, pictures on demand? So why can't everything could be the entire world could be a digital library, and we could do a voice and text and pictures and videos and audios using computers. Uh, and when the I saw the browser, and I could almost imagine that all of my wish list is coming true. So that was, I think, what you call a eureka movement for me, uh, when I kind of fell for internet. कि अब तो जो कुछ भी करना है internet के लिए करना है. So that was, and then then I got married. I had one son in US only. I came to India, got married, went back. My father, mother also came and stayed with me for 6 months. But then once all that happened, I had visited the US. I had seen things, but pace of work and my urge to start a business and my urge to come back to India kept on getting stronger. In fact, you won't believe, when I met my wife, arranged marriage के लिए, so the only question I asked is, uh, भाई वापस इंडिया आना रहेगा?
अच्छा, तो वो पहले से ही आपने बता दिया कि इसके लिए रेडी रहो।
नहीं, इसके लिए रेडी हो तो ही शादी करेंगे, because don't think that you are marrying a boy who is working in US and you are going to settle down, because a lot of people, uh,
हाँ,
so
they would not
she
want to come back. हाँ,
and fortunately she also came from a family background. I know my wife's side is a very religious family background, and they are the founders of Gita Press गोरखपुर के founders हैं, and they also have a very large extended family, joint family. So she was also very happily, कि हाँ US वापस इंडिया ही चलना है. And so I think our cultural matching happened, and so we came back in September, October. So I think I remember the day. It was 15th of August 1995 when the Prime Minister of India from Lal Killa announced the arrival of internet in India.
okay. Through BSNL. हाँ,
Yeah, BSNL. And I remember the very next day, same day, I told my wife that चलो अब वापस चलने का time आ गया है. And very next day, I told my manager that I'm going back to India. Please release me as soon as possible. He said, okay, 3 महीने के अंदर release कर देंगे. So I took a transfer to HCL India, and here in Noida, and spent 5-6 months a year at India. There was hardly any project here because India में ज़्यादा projects होते नहीं थे उनके पास. So an Indian and a great engineer sitting in India was a waste of time for most companies.
okay.
it's, it's like labor on the bench, not doing anything, because they didn't have many projects to work here in India. And that gave me time to actually, when I came back to India, I didn't know what to do. I just knew that I have to do something in internet, and the basic idea was that I will become an internet service provider. But when I came to India, I found out that internet service provider license is restricted to BSNL only, and it was not given to any private. So I started go to different trade fairs to understand what all other computer related business can be started with. I mulled over, you know, becoming a computer distributor like a Reddington or something. I mulled over starting a educational in computer and internet education like an IIT. And then one fine day, me and my friend Vikas Mishra and Madhup Agarwal, the same my college, one who joined TCS and one who joined. So we were sitting in Connaught Place in United Coffee House, and my friend mentioned that why don't you look at the making websites? And that idea immediately clicked to me that okay, yeah, we should be making websites. Um, Website is the internet thing, and so I immediately came back and started to understand कि website कैसे बनती है, because I was a hardcore software engineer writing device drivers and you know telephone signaling programming. I didn't have any idea about this new age uh, thing called a browser and HTML and CGI or Perl or anything. But I think it was easy. I figured it out. I remember days when I finally decided that okay, we want to make a website. तो वेबसाइट किसके लिए बनाएंगे? ये हुआ कि यार वेबसाइट अगर इंडिया में लोगों के लिए बनाएंगे तो इंडिया में तो कंप्यूटर्स ही नहीं थे ज़्यादातर. आई रिमेम्बर ब्रिंगिंग वन कंप्यूटर फ्रॉम यूएस and in unassembled pieces. So I brought a motherboard, I brought a graphics board, I brought a keyboard and other things. So that's how my first computer was made. Uh, बट सो वेबसाइट के ऊपर बात करते हैं कि वेबसाइट बनाने का जब डिसाइड किया, सो आई लर्न वेबसाइट, बट ये था कि वेबसाइट किसके लिए बनाई जाए. शुड वी मेक वेबसाइट फॉर यू नो exporters? Should we make website for Indian corporates? Should we make websites for foreign companies? So somehow it was decided that इंडिया में तो computers और internet इतने हैं नहीं, और बड़ी कंपनी के लिए वेबसाइट बनाने के लिए by the time Rediff had already come in, and Rediff had announced that they will make websites for 500 large corporates. So I said that space is already taken, and I think I want to make websites for exporters, because US में when I was there, एक तो मैंने देखा कि इंडिया के सामान की काफी डिमांड थी, and Indian goods were generally not available. If they were available through middlemen like merchant exporters, and they were available very expensive. However, the China goods were already becoming very popular in US. I think that's where, because these exporters used to travel to US and western part of the world, and they were probably more adept to having computers, and because they used to travel, so they were in the exports, they had these buyers. So we decided that we'll make websites for exporters. And for that purpose, to get what kind of website, how to get the list of exporters, I think I visited these export promotion councils, Federation of Indian Export Organization, and many of these. And because I wanted to get a directory of those export companies. So this is how IndiaMART basic idea started.
Yeah. But initially, you had a platform idea, or you were individually making websites? क्या आपको मतलब you would call the exporters
The platform idea evolved, So I'm coming to that story. So the basic idea was कि हम exporters की website बनाएंगे, और so जब exporters की website बनाने का ध्यान आया, तो फिर we went around and met these export promotion councils to give us the exporters data so that we can contact them. I also had to book a domain name, name the company. So I remember my first company name was Intermesh Systems. It was a proprietorship firm called Intermesh Systems. And how do I find the name Intermesh? So Microsoft Word में एक thesaurus होता है. So I tried looking at web का alternate क्या होता है, thesaurus, internet का alternate क्या होता है, और ऐसे करते करते मैं word intermesh मुझे मिला. Intermesh is another word for internet actually. So Intermesh Systems करके कंपनी का नाम बना लिया. My father was here. मैंने उनसे पूछा कि यहाँ पे एक नया बिजनेस चालू करने के लिए क्या करना होता है. तो he said कुछ नहीं करना होता. And I keep quoting this. In India, India is the easiest place to start a business if you are starting a small business. You don't have any legalities. You just name your business, go to the bank and say that I want to start this business in the name and style of this firm called Intermesh System, and I am going to be the proprietor of that business, and please open a current account and your business is up and running. That's it. And you don't really have any registration requirement. All that starts only when you grow up to a certain size, and in terms of number of employees, or in terms of, so India में start करना business is the most easiest one. Scale करना difficult हो सकता है, but start करना is the most easiest one. तो फिर ये हुआ कि अच्छा एक डोमेन नेम रजिस्टर कराना है. तो डोमेन नेम उस समय मैंने जब देखा तो वो india.com भी अवेलेबल था, indiabusiness.com भी अवेलेबल था, businessindia.com भी अवेलेबल था, बिकॉज हमें बिजनेस के लिए कुछ करना था. तो फिर ये हुआ कि क्या करें, कौन सा लें. तो आउट ऑफ फियर आई डिडंट रजिस्टर india.com और businessindia.com और इंडिया बिजनेस, बिकॉज आई थॉट कि किसी दिन गवर्नमेंट या किसी दिन बिजनेस इंडिया नाम की किताब बाद में उसको क्लेम कर लेंगे. सो आई somehow I don't remember, but I somehow started on IndiaMART because it is going to be a business mart. So IndiaMART करके हमने अपनी वेबसाइट बना दी. उसके ऊपर जनरल इंडियन इन्फॉर्मेशन हमने डालने की कोशिश की, एंड डोमेन नेम रजिस्ट्रेशन का भी बहुत यूनिक, उसके पैसे देने के लिए $135 for 2 years. It was a very difficult task. I think I remember running around bank to bank trying to transfer money, And in those days, the domain name registrar uh, won't take a wire transfer. There was no way to wire transfer money from here to register a domain. So and these wire transfer people had a lot of paperwork, because उस समय में फॉरेन करेंसी का कंट्रोल बहुत था इंडिया में. So then I fortunately I was carrying my, अभी मैंने यूएस का अपना बैंक अकाउंट क्लोज नहीं किया था, because I had heard lot of horror stories where people went back to India and within 6 months or within 9 months they uh, came back to US saying that India में can't survive. So I kept my bank account and whatever money I had left open in US. So I actually requested my friend in US to pay up $135 for me uh, and registered this domain name in my name, because I didn't have a credit card or anything here. So that's how we registered the domain name. And I never gave that money to my friend.
Okay.
So Amit Taneja is the name of my friend. So I quote him so that I can tell him that I still owe you.
Okay.
And so we thought that किसकी वेबसाइट बनाए, कैसे बनाए, कहाँ से शुरू करें. So we participated in some trade fair. कोई इंटरनेट का ट्रेड फेयर हो रहा था छोटा सा, उसमें लोग मॉडेम वगैरह बेच रहे थे और ये इंटरनेट का कनेक्शन बेच रहे थे. तो वहाँ पे हमने अपना पहला स्टॉल लगाया और उस स्टॉल में कुछ लोग आए, सो इरकॉन इंटरनेशनल वाज अ रेलवे कंपनी एंड सम पीपल केम, सम एक्सपोर्टर्स केम. एंड फिर भी कुछ समझ में नहीं आया कि कैसे शुरू करें. तो हमने क्या किया कि एक एक्सपोर्ट डायरेक्टरी और ये जो बिजनेस डायरेक्टरी होती है, उस बिजनेस डायरेक्टरी से सबको एक ये हुआ कि एक फ्री लिस्टिंग का सिस्टम बनाते हैं. ऐसा करते हैं कि ऑनलाइन डायरेक्टरी ही बना देते हैं, बिकॉज I was looking at those directories to get the numbers of exporters, and so I said, ये these directories are very उनमें फोन नंबर्स अपडेटेड नहीं थे, किसी में एड्रेस नहीं था, ईमेल आईडी नहीं था, एंड some of them were very old directories. So I said, let us create an online directory of the exporters. And I actually requested these export promotion councils, etc., to give me a permission to publish their directories as it is, which they kept on saying हाँ देते हैं, but they didn't. So in the meantime I said, okay, हम ऐसा करते हैं कि वहाँ से आप, since we can't copy your data, so we will at least take the permission from individual people and
Directly put it up.
directly approach them to list them. So हमने एक फ्री लिस्टिंग फॉर्म बनाया that if you want to register your business on internet, please send your information, name, email, phone number, this, that. And उसी में नीचे हमने ये भी लिखा कि if you want to make a website on internet, please click here or tick here. And these were the paper based forms. And हमने वो सारी डायरेक्टरी में से सारे एड्रेसेस पे चिट्ठियां डालनी शुरू कर दी. एंड आई रिमेम्बर क्योंकि हम लोग ज्यादा लोग नहीं होते थे, मैंने सिर्फ एक सेक्रेटरी करके एक लड़की रखी थी.
हाँ, तो आपने इस टाइम पे जॉब छोड़ दी थी जब आपने सोचा कि
हाँ,
इंडिया मार्ट
जॉब मैंने मार्च में छोड़ दी थी. यस,
Okay,
जॉब
okay.
मैंने मार्च में छोड़ दी थी. तो my wife Chetna would write all the addresses on the on the envelopes, and we will. I got that offer free listing form printed from my friends. उनके एक रिलेटिव की प्रिंटिंग प्रेस थी यहाँ पे. ये डीएस ग्रुप वालों का एक प्रिंटिंग प्रेस है. तो मधुक के भैया हैं अतुल जी,
नोएडा
तो
में.
उन्होंने, हाँ, नोएडा में.
हाँ,
तो ये जो डीएस ग्रुप है ना, ये
कैच मसाला.
हाँ, वहाँ पे वो काम करते हैं. तो उनकी एक प्रिंटिंग प्रेस भी थी, ऑफसेट प्रिंटिंग प्रेस. तो वहाँ पे उन्होंने हमारे लिए ये 10-15 हज़ार पेपर छाप दिए फ्री लिस्टिंग फॉर्म के, और हमारा इंट्रोडक्शन लेटर और वो. तो वहाँ से वो करके हमने, सो आई वुड जस्ट गिव देम लिस्ट ऑफ डायरेक्टरी का, Chetna will write the addresses, and Mummy Papa will put up the stamps, and then I will go and deposit them into the post office to receive फैक्स एंड फैक्स के ऊपर याद आया उस समय जब इंडिया हम आ गए तो अब 6 महीने हो गए थे सोचिए हमको आए हुए और 6 महीने में हमारे घर पे फोन नहीं लग सका तो 6 महीने हो गए थे मुझे आए हुए एंड आई हैड अप्लाइड फॉर अ फोन उस समय फोन में एक वीआईपी कैटेगरी होती थी तो उसमें 15,000 रुपए जमा करने होते थे मैंने वो 15,000 रुपए भी जमा कर रखे थे बट गेटिंग फोन लाइन वॉज अ herculean task in those days. So I didn't really have a phone number. So I had formed a company. I had started put up a bank account. I had a visiting card. We didn't have a phone number. So मेरे मधुक के यहाँ पे फोन था तो हमने कहा कि वहाँ पे एक फैक्स हमने लगा दिया. So the only thing that we had was a fax number. कि अगर आपको रिप्लाई बैक करना है तो यू कैन रिप्लाई बैक टू अस यूजिंग फैक्स और रिप्लाई बैक टू अस यूजिंग लेटर बिकॉज आई डिडंट हैव अ फोन एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम एंड एवरी डे फिर मैं शाम को जाके मधुप के घर से वो फैक्स कलेक्ट करता था कि कोई रिटर्न फैक्स आया क्या क्योंकि मैं तो मधुप को फोन भी नहीं कर सकता था मेरे पास तो फोन भी नहीं था तो आई हैड टू लिटरली ट्रैवल फ्रॉम पटपड़गंज टू मयूर विहार जो पास में है वहां जाकर के रोज शाम को चेक करने की कोई फैक्स आया क्या आज एंड द फर्स्ट few faxes came out of one fax came from Devender Singh who was the computer operator or IT system manager at Nirula's corner house. So and I remember few other faxes coming in Advani Orlicon, Raymond's, बॉम्बे से लेकिन वो बॉम्बे के थे फैक्सेस आई रियलाइज कि हम बॉम्बे तो जा नहीं सकते इतना खर्चा नहीं कर सकते सो आई थिंक माय फर्स्ट क्लाइंट बिकेम निरुलाज सेट कि हमको वेबसाइट बनवानी है और हमको वेबसाइट क्यों बनवानी है तो उन्होंने कहा कि हमको वेबसाइट इसलिए बनानी है कि यहाँ से बहुत सारे लोग फॉरेन में रहते हैं and they generally want to place order on birthdays and anniversaries and weddings for cakes to their loved ones in India. So it was the first website and first e-commerce website in India. So देवेंद्र जी हमारे वहाँ पे आईटी मैनेजर थे और समीर कुकरेजा जी वहाँ पे मार्केटिंग मैनेजर थे सो वो करीब 16,000 रुपए का हमारा पहला वेब पेज बनाने का ऑर्डर हमको एक मिला और उस इन द मीन टाइम हालांकि उन्होंने परचेज ऑर्डर दिया हमें तो वेबसाइट बनाना शुरू किया जब वेबसाइट बनाना शुरू किया तो मैंने देखा कि वेबसाइट कैसे बनाते हैं HTML कैसे बनती है तो आई रियलाइज ये तो बहुत आसान है मतलब वेबसाइट बनाने के आज कोई 15,000 रुपए दे देगा बट गोइंग फॉरवर्ड आई थिंक ये तो 2,000 रुपए में बिकने लग जाएगी दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी अ वायबल बिजनेस मॉडल whereas Rediff used to charge 50,000 rupees for one website. So I said, this is not going to be a business model, really business model. So that's when we started to think कि यार ये जो ऑनलाइन डायरेक्टरी हम बना रहे हैं और वो ऑनलाइन डायरेक्टरी में हम अपने लोगों को जो भी हमसे वेबसाइट बनवाएगा उसको हम प्रीमियम लिस्टिंग देंगे and we named IndiaMART directory as the global gateway to Indian marketplace. उस वक्त में वर्ड मार्केट प्लेस एज अ वर्ड हमने क्योंकि मैंने बताया ना कि ये सारे वर्ड्स हमने जा करके थिजॉरस से ढूंढे थे
तो अच्छा मतलब मार्केट प्लेस वर्ड मतलब कॉमन नहीं था उस टाइम पे
ना मार्केट प्लेस वर्ड कॉमन मार्केट कॉमन था मार्केट प्लेस वर्ड कोई कॉमन नहीं था
अच्छा ओके
तो वर्चुअल मार्केट को हमने देखा तो वर्चुअल मार्केट का मतलब मार्केट प्लेस बोलते हैं या समथिंग लाइक दैट सो दैट टाइम वी मेड कि हम डायरेक्टरी बनाएंगे डायरेक्टरी को कैटेगराइज करेंगे सर्चेबल बनाएंगे और जो भी लोग हमसे एक्सपोर्ट की वेबसाइट बनवाएंगे उनको अपार्ट फ्रॉम डूइंग उनकी हम डिजाइनिंग करेंगे होस्टिंग करेंगे उनको सर्च इंजन ऑप्टिमाइजेशन करेंगे उसके साथ साथ में हम इंडिया मार्ट पे उनकी टॉप लिस्टिंग भी करेंगे उस कैटेगरी में रेलेवेंट कैटेगरी में The second thing we said that चूंकि हम ये पूरी डायरेक्टरी बना ही रहे हैं तो इस डायरेक्टरी का काफी अच्छा लोगों ने रिस्पांस देना शुरू किया यूएस में और यूके में एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, that the government of India has started this great initiative of making this online businesses online. So I said thank you. I never said not government of India. And they would want to contact these exporters, but हमारे पास तो उनका कोई ईमेल आईडी या कंप्यूटर आईडी तो था नहीं. सो वी यूज्ड टू, जो भी इंक्वायरीज आती थी एवरी डे वो इंक्वायरीज को हम प्रिंट करते थे, फिर प्रिंट करके रात को फैक्स करते थे, और नेक्स्ट डे उनको प्रिंट करके बाय एनवेलप सेंडिंग एन एनवेलप यूज्ड टू से दैट येट अनदर बिजनेस इंक्वायरी थ्रू इंडिया मार्ट. उस तरह, एंड दैट कंटिन्यूड फॉर 5 years. So from 1996 mid to all the way to 2001 or so, every day thousands of inquiries will come. Initially, maybe 10-15 inquiries came, then hundreds of inquiries came, and then thousands of inquiries came, and they will get printed, faxed overnight, and sent by post to the exporters in India. And they will then realize that there is a demand from foreign, and that's how it used to work. Even if somebody wanted to import something through embassy, this is the same process embassies used to follow. Embassies would actually send you a letter saying that आपके लिए ये एक inquiry आई है, and that's how the exports used to happen. It was very cumbersome.
बट आप इसको फंड कैसे कर रहे थे, ये जो खर्चा ऑफ सेंडिंग आउट, मतलब व्हाट
वेबसाइट बनाने से फंड होता था. जो वेबसाइट हम बनाते थे, क्योंकि शुरू में हमने काफी सारी वेबसाइटें बनाई है. मुझे याद है एक एंसन मल्टीटेक करके होता है, वो जिपर की वेबसाइट बनवाई उन्होंने. ब्लैक जैक टूल्स की वेबसाइट बनाई हमने. इरकॉन इंटरनेशनल की वेबसाइट बनाई, निर्मलास की बनाई. हमने एसबीआई के एक रीजनल मैनेजर थे, उनकी वेबसाइट बनाई. स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया की, और भी बहुत सारे एक्सपोर्टर्स थे जिनकी वेबसाइट बनाई हमने.
मतलब these were like normal standalone website like sbi.com या जो भी.
No. These were like mostly more all of them were IndiaMART.com/Nirulaz. Later on they became a domain name, because domain name register करना वगैरह बहुत मुश्किल था उस समय में.
ओके, तो आपके पास वो एसेट था कि आपके पास डोमेन नेम था, तो यू like leverage that for these clients.
तो उस समय में वेब पेज बनाए समझिए, क्योंकि याहू वगैरह पे भी उस समय में वेब पेज ही बनते थे. मतलब इंडिविजुअल वेबसाइट्स बहुत कम लोग बनाते थे, या बहुत बड़े, मतलब हो सकता है. आई थिंक द टाइम वाज रनिंग फास्ट. एवरी मंथ थिंग्स वर चेंजिंग. सो वेबसाइट्स बनाते थे. वेबसाइट बनाने से हमारा पैसा आने लग गया. मुझे याद है फर्स्ट ईयर में, फ्रॉम 1st April 1996 टू 31st March 1997, फर्स्ट ईयर हमने 6 लाख रुपए की रेवेन्यू करी. 6 लाख रुपए में. और तो उसमें हम करते क्या थे कि जो भी ये फैक्स से या बाद में फोन भी लग गया, तो जो भी फोन से फैक्स से इंक्वायरीज आती थी, और फिर हमने एक सेल्स का लड़का भी रख लिया. तो वो जो भी लोग आते थे उनको हम जाके दिन में तो हम सेल्स करते थे, और शाम को बैठ करके उनका डिजाइनिंग वगैरह कर देते थे. तो डिजाइनिंग को आप सोच सकते हैं कि मैं कितनी बुरी करता हूँगा. तो अगर आप इंडिया मार्ट का कभी वे बैक मशीन पे या वेब आर्काइव पे जाकर के शुरू के वेब पेज देखेंगे, हो सकता है गूगल पे भी मिल जाए इंडिया मार्ट 1990. आई मीन इट वाज रियली बैड डिजाइंस.
तो बेसिकली ये जो आप लोगों को भेजते थे, yet another inquiry was a lead generation for you. मतलब इसके
Yes, it was a lead generation for them, and it was a lead generation for us also, because we used to call those same people जिनको कि हम 2-3 इंक्वायरी भेज चुके हैं, कि सर आपको 2-3 इंक्वायरी भेजी थी, आपको कैसी लगी, आपको इंटरनेट पे वेब पेज बनवाना है क्या. So the whole entire database, वो मार्केट प्लेस का फ्लाईव्हील उसी समय से चलना चालू हो गया. because we created this free listing का database, जिसके अंदर धीरे धीरे करके कंपनियां बढ़ती गई. And I remember by end of 1997 we had like 10,000 plus companies on our website, and the inquiries will go to them, एंड वी विल कॉल, जिसको 2-3 इंक्वायरी चली जाएंगी तो या तो उसका खुद का कॉल आ जाता था या हम उसको कॉल करते थे, भेजते थे कि आपको 2-3 इंक्वायरी भेजी, कैसी लगी, डिड यू कॉन्टैक्ट द सप्लायर और नॉट, और उसी में से 10 में से एक आदमी हमसे फर्दर वेबसाइट या वेब पेज बनवाने के लिए राजी हो जाता था. सो दैट एंड दैट फ्यूल्ड लाइक द एंटायर. एंड तब तक हमने फिर ऑनलाइन रजिस्ट्रेशन भी, वेबसाइट के ऊपर ऑनलाइन रजिस्ट्रेशन, फ्री लिस्टिंग फॉर्म भी चालू कर दिया. तो फ्री लिस्टिंग हम, और फ्री लिस्टिंग करने के लिए हम फिर सारे ट्रेड फेयर के सामने खड़े रहते थे. जहां भी कोई ट्रेड फेयर होता था, उस ट्रेड फेयर के सामने हम पूरे ऑफिस के 8-10 लोग जाके खड़े हो जाते थे, टी शर्ट वगैरह पहन के, और हाथ में नोट पैड लेकर के कि सर आपको इंटरनेट पर रजिस्टर, फ्री रजिस्टर कराना है. जिस तरह से आपको ये क्रेडिट कार्ड वाले नहीं मिल जाते हैं पेट्रोल पंप पे, उसी तरह से हम लोग खड़े रहते थे. तो दैट्स हाउ वी बिल्ड दैट डेटाबेस. क्योंकि हमारे लिए वो डेटाबेस भी था, हमारे लिए वही लीड जनरेशन का सोर्स था, और बायर्स के लिए वही डेटाबेस यूजफुल था. सो इट एक्चुअली वर्क बोथ वेज. So that's how this whole marketplace business started. But then, next year we ended up doing almost like 25 lakh रुपए का business, and internet was growing very very quickly. तो 96-97 अच्छा चला, एंड घर पे ही हमने एक कमरा और ले लिया. घर घर पे ही 2 कमरे हो गए तो सोसाइटी में लोग प्रॉब्लम करने लग गए कि यार ये सोसाइटी में रेजिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टी है, आप इसके अंदर बिजनेस चला रहे हो. So by the 1st April 1997 we had to take an office मधु विहार में, पटपड़गंज में, which was nearby to my home, आशीर्वाद एन्क्लेव के पास. वहाँ पे हम शिफ्ट हो गए. एंड 1997-98 was a great year when we did about 25 लाख रुपीस, 24 लाख रुपीस का बिजनेस. लोगों का एक्चुअली में बिजनेस होने लग गया. एक और खास बात थी कि हमें यह था कि अगर कोई इंटरनेट पे ढूंढेगा बिजनेस तो कैसे ढूंढेगा. तो उस समय में सर्च इंजन ऑप्टिमाइजेशन का, मतलब सर्च इंजन ऑप्टिमाइजेशन एज अ वर्ड हमें नहीं पता था, बट हमें ये मालूम था कि अगर याहू पे, या उस समय में अल्टा विस्टा होता था, गूगल नहीं था, तो याहू पे या अल्टा विस्टा पे कोई आदमी ढूंढेगा तो उसमें क्या कीवर्ड डालना है, कैसे. सो वी यूज्ड टू बी वेरी पर्टिकुलर अबाउट कि हम खाली आपकी साइट नहीं बनाएंगे, इट इज नॉट ओनली फॉर योर विजिटिंग कार्ड, वो हम आपकी साइट इंटरनेट पे प्रमोट भी करेंगे. और प्रमोट कैसे करेंगे, वो सर्च इंजन पे आपकी साइटें ला करके प्रमोट करेंगे. बाद में पता लगा कि उस दैट दैट होल प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड सर्च इंजन ऑप्टिमाइजेशन. So we would register those every page that we will create. We will register them onto Yahoo and Alta Vista and so many other directories, Open Directory and other directories. We'll register them. So that's how when people in US and UK and Australia and Europe, they will search anything from India or anything, they will find our pages and it became a easier selling tool कि सर आपको देखिए इंटरनेट पे लोग इस तरह से ढूंढेंगे, और देखिए इस कंपनी को ढूंढते हैं तो ऐसे करके मिल जाती है. एंड दैट्स हाउ दैट बिकेम द सेलिंग टूल. सो दैट्स हाउ द बिजनेस मॉडल स्टार्टेड टू रोल.
आपका पैकेज क्या होता था? लाइक हाउ मच वर यू चार्जिंग फॉर दिस?
We were charging 15,000 rupees. We were
Okay.
charging 15,000 rupees per page, and then additional page was some 10,000 rupees. And if you want to make a full website, it was 50,000 rupees.
Okay.
Full website with your domain name. Very few people will opt for that. 1 or 2 people in a month, but most of so by next year end we had 100 plus customers, and it started to work nicely. And every day sending those thousands of inquiries by post became a big process. So that's how the ball started to roll. Then, somewhere towards the end of 1998, suddenly there was a lot of interest in internet. Rediff.com हो गया, IndiaMART.com हो गया, Hotmail.com हो गया, and India Connect and so many other ऐसे बनने लग गए. And then venture capital जैसी कुछ बातें सुनने को मिलने लग गई. We would suddenly see that something called madeinindia.com has happened. उसका अखबार में बड़ा बड़ा ऐड आने लग गया. We didn't know ये सारे पैसे कहाँ से आ रहा है, क्यों आ रहा है, and because either we are doing something wrong, our business is not doing well, but our business was doing okay. We were a cash positive business.
आपका तब तक क्या टर्नओवर था? मतलब आपका 6 से 25 लाख हुआ? फिर
6 से 25 लाख हुआ, अगले साल 50 लाख हो गया. सो बाय मार्च 99, so March 97 it's 6 lakh, March 98 24 lakh, and March 99 53 lakh. But by March 99, suddenly there was a lot of euphoria. Uh,
वो .com बूम बेसिकली जो उस टाइम पे हुआ था.
हाँ, सो मेरे पास एक चिट्ठी आई किसी की, गुजरात वेंचर फाइनेंस कॉर्पोरेशन लिमिटेड से, कि हमको आपको पैसे देने हैं. तो वी टॉक टू देम. तो हमने कहा कि नहीं सर, हमको कोई लोन नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि हम वी वर वेल ऑफ फ्रॉम द फैमिली साइड. सो इफ वी नीडेड एनी कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर, ऑफिस लेना है, कंप्यूटर लेना है, तो वो सब के लिए पैसे मुझे घर से मिल जाते थे. बट in fact, one interesting point was that hiring one person as a designer or as a was more cheaper than buying one computer, because the computer will cost you 50,000 rupees, and hiring a person would cost you maybe 3,000 rupees or 4,000 rupees or a maximum 5,000 rupees. uh, I ended up hiring one person called Rustam Singh because he had a laptop,
अच्छा.
so that I don't have to spend. So my entire, investment would go on to buy a computer or office equipment or things like that, or office space or office furniture. But other than that, I think we will, whatever revenue we were making, we will pay up for our salaries and other expenses. So from that perspective, we were a cash positive business from day one. Day one means from the year one, and remain cash positive for a long period of time. Uh, so venture capital, etc., we didn't understand. So I can tell you how money and things can change a person so easily. So March 99, we didn't understand the word venture capital, and then within 6 months we became so मतलब इतनी सारी न्यूज़पेपर और इतना सारा सब कुछ, कि सितंबर 99 में हमने सोचा कि अब कंपनी बना लेते हैं.
हाँ, अभी तक सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप थी.
अभी तक सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप चल रहा था, और बहुत लोग ये पूछते थे ये इंटरनेट सिस्टम क्या है, और ये इंडिया मार्ट क्या है, IndiaMART.com क्या है. सो वी सेड की कंपनी बना लेते हैं. एंड कंपनी बनाने के लिए हमने अपने चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, जो हमारे ऑफिस के बगल में ही, उन्होंने एक छोटा सा, ही वॉज ए यंग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, उनसे बात करी, और मुकेश जी हैं, एंड ही रिमेन्ड अवर ऑडिटर फॉर लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. तो हमने कहा इंडिया मार्ट इंटरमेश लिमिटेड बना लो या प्राइवेट लिमिटेड बना दो. तो उन्होंने कहा प्राइवेट लिमिटेड बनाएंगे कि लिमिटेड बनाएंगे. हमने पूछा क्या फर्क होता है. So he said the private limited is for private companies, or limited companies are which take external funding and become public, and IPO होता है उनका. तो हमने कहा फिर आप सीधा लिमिटेड कंपनी बना दो, फिर 2-4 साल के अंदर, 2-3 साल के अंदर IPO करना रहेगा. सो बार बार चेंज करेगा. सो इमेजिन how money and how other things can change a person within 6 months. A person who is not knowing what is venture capital, and immediately thinking about कि अब तो IPO करेंगे. Because by that time Rediff had the whole entire 99 was a year of transformation. Rediff had listed, SIFI had listed.
हाँ, इन्फोसिस भी उस टाइम पे ही था ना, लाइक इन्फोसिस का जब लिस्टिंग हुई थी तब तक हो गई थी शायद.
इन्फोसिस वगैरह की लिस्टिंग हुई थी. बट इन्फोसिस वगैरह का बिजनेस मॉडल हमें बहुत अजीब सा लगता था, क्योंकि दे वर स्टिल वर्किंग फॉर फॉरेन. मतलब वो फॉरेन का सॉफ्टवेयर ही बनाते थे, तो उससे इंडिया को कोई गेन नहीं होता था. आई ऑलवेज टुक प्राइड दैट बिकॉज ऑफ वट एवर आई एम डूइंग, it is helping the Indian economy, it is getting business into India, direct business to small and medium enterprises in India and exporters in India. However, Infosys is only generating employment. In our case, we were generating employment as well as making computers usable here in India, internet usable here in India, and export and import happening at a broader scale rather than a few large companies doing exports. So that was and I think the businesses started to do well. In fact, by the end of 1999, SIFI purchased IndiaWorld.com for 500 crore.
Okay.
500 crore in those days. Imagine,
Yeah,
50 लाख रुपए का मेरा टर्नओवर था.
वो फ्रंट पेज न्यूज थी वो उस टाइम पे. तो
फ्रंट पेज नहीं, पहली न्यूज थी, हमने देखी थी केवल दो न्यूज मैंने देखी थी where the headline ran from the left corner of the newspaper to the right corner of the newspaper. The first one that I remember was Rajiv Gandhi assassinated. The second one I remember India Word Sifi purchased India Word for 500 crore. And the third thing that I remember for the first time ever, the first page of Times of India was not a news page. It was an advertisement called India.com,
हाँ,
INDA dot.
या आई रिमेम्बर। मैं उस टाइम पे अपनी एमबीए की तैयारी कर रहा था, तो आई यूज्ड टू रीड न्यूज़पेपर बिकॉज़ ऑब्वियसली जब आप कैट की तैयारी कर रहे हो तो वो आपको बताते हैं न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ो, वोकैबुलरी बढ़ाओ, जीके बढ़ाओ। तो आई रिमेम्बर ऑल दिस, वो इंडिया डॉट कॉम का एडवर्टाइजमेंट एंड दिस एक्विजिशन आल्सो।
So I think between the September 99 and March 2000, I think we also started to look at venture capital. We started to get few venture capital calls. We started to understand them. तो हमने पहले वाले को बोला भाई 5 करोड़ रुपए। तो उसने बोला 2.5 करोड़ रुपए। फिर दूसरे वाला आया, मैंने बोला 10 करोड़ रुपए, उसने बोला 5 करोड़ रुपए। तीसरा वाला आया, मैंने बोला 20 करोड़ रुपए, उसने बोला 10 करोड़ रुपए। मैं कुछ तो गलत है।
अच्छा, ओके।
This was happening week after week.
अच्छा, ओके।
No. So I said, there's something grossly wrong. And then this 500 crore news came in. So we actually said, we need to appoint a banker or something. So we called up these KPMG and Ernst and Young and all them. And उनके वेबसाइट तो नहीं होता था, उनका कहीं से नंबर देख करके उनके ऑफिसेज में we called. And nobody would respond. After one or two, three or follow-ups, finally, Ernst and Young responded with the same person who had done this India World ka valuation. Uh, Sanjeev Agarwal was the person, and he was kind enough to spend time on internet and came to our office and started. तो हमने अगले 2-3 महीने बहुत सारा बिजनेस प्लान ये वो सब बनाया, एंड देन ही सेड नहीं सर अब तो मार्केट क्रैश कर गया और अब कुछ नहीं होगा. So the entire 99 2000 was the worst time for us when I recall, because we got derailed into so many things, and our people were poached because imagine an internet business. You don't know what is HTML is. HTML तो कहीं engineering college में नहीं पढ़ाया जाता, कहीं NIT में नहीं पढ़ाया जाता. CGI programming कहीं नहीं पढ़ाई जाती. So I used to hire very fresher set of people. और वेब पेज बेचना किसी को कहीं नहीं सिखाया जाता. सो और इंटरनेट पे कंटेंट राइटिंग के लिए एडिटर कहीं से नहीं सिखाए जाते. सो आई यूज्ड टू हायर पीपल एंड टीच देम. वी यूज्ड टू हैव 8 to 10 days ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम, जिसमें से 5 दिन अकेले मैं ही लेता था. So I used to actually make them learn what is internet, what is computer, what is website, what is content, what is Photoshop, what is HTML, and then my people started to leave. My people started to leave because there was double salaries were given by these new startups at that point of time. So that was a little bit a difficult year. Not that I mean difficult in terms of revenue or something, but it was difficult year in terms of people retention and salary increases. Uh, but then somewhere in the middle of 2000, suddenly these dot coms started to disappear. ओवरनाइट पता लगा गोफार आई बंद हो गई. 300 लोग अगले दिन ऑफिस पहुंचे तो वहां ऑफिस ही नहीं था. ओवरनाइट. And we went in. I mean, so I think the entire industry went into coma, and our golden period started. So as the entire hype and hoopla around the dot com hiring, around the newspaper, around, so otherwise there was too much of a media attention. Somebody is making this portal, somebody is making that portal, somebody is making marketplace, somebody is making e-commerce. Rediff is launching e-commerce, job portal, matrimony portal. Everything was happening. And there was a talent crunch like anything, and business models were starting to look unviable. But then after this crash happened, I think we were because actually Indian economy was booming and Indian exports were booming. So a great time started for us between the crash of 2000 and 2001. So I think we grew leaps and bound during that 2000 and 2001 time period, while the dot com was crashing and crashing and crashing, and people were losing jobs, and lots of monies were uh, written off like anything.
So, what kind of revenue did you do by 2001?
So from 1999, March 99 were 55 crores, March 2000 was 1.5 crores, and March 2001 was 2.8 crores.
Okay. Hmm. Which is pretty big.
Actually, we were doubling almost like every doubling or even more higher uh, every year. एंड वी हैड हमने हमने भी वो हमारा पीआर वीआर का सारा काम बंद कर दिया एंड वी वर लाइक प्योरली फोकस्ड ऑन बिजनेस और क्योंकि हमारा बिजनेस अच्छा चलने लग गया
And with no external funding.
with no external funding we became grossly profitable. मतलब अच्छा प्रॉफिट होने लग गया हमें 10-5 लाख 20 लाख रुपए का प्रॉफिट होने लग गया.
Okay. Okay.
So we were all good. Then one fine day, I remember somewhere around and in the month of so जब ये सब अच्छा चलने लग गया 2001 में, तो हमने कहा कि 2001 में यार हम एमबीए कर लेते हैं because I was pure. So I went to IMT गाजियाबाद में हमने टेस्ट इंटरव्यू दिया और वहाँ पे एमबीए की क्लासेस भी ज्वाइन की.
This would be like evening classes, yeah, something like that.
Evening classes, yes, evening classes. Um, I remember, Business World calling us one day, ki, are you still around? Are you? So we said yes, we are very much around, and we are doing a survey on .com companies, and we had sent you an email to your PR email. तो हमने कहा यार पीआर वाला तो बंदा छोड़ के चला गया और हमने दूसरा रखा नहीं, कोई जरूरत नहीं थी बिकॉज no news is being printed in the last 1 year. In fact, टाइम्स इंडिया वालों ने तो ये कह दिया था कि .com की तो कोई न्यूज छपनी नहीं चाहिए.
अच्छा.
.com became untouchable word.
हाँ, 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 हाँ.
So so उन्होंने कहा कि you guys are not responding, but so I'm saying no, we are very much around. So he said, are you how much losses are you making? How much? So we said, no, we don't make losses. We have always been profitable company and we remain profitable. कहने ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, everybody makes losses. मैंने कहा, "Papa, everybody, nobody makes losses in the business. Everybody does business for the purpose of sustainability and profit and all that." So I said, that's not possible. So I said, yes, that's possible, very much possible. So they said that we would like to check your papers. I said, come over, we'll show you all the uh, filings and all the income tax returns and everything. So they actually came and they said, यार ये तो बहुत गड़बड़ हो गई और हमें तो कल बिजनेस वर्ल्ड का कवर कल ही छपना है and अभी तो हमें आपको कवर चेंज करना पड़ेगा. So that was, they came out with the news with the edition in 2001 May 2001. Who is this man in the middle of .com carnage? India Dinesh Agarwal actually made profit.
Wow. Okay.
And I remember the 6 companies mentioned in that was Naukri.com and Chennai Bazaar and Metal Junction and Make My Trip and some of those companies. So we and Hangama.com um, and so these were the 6-8 companies that were mentioned, and we were like on a seventh sky कि यार हमारा बिजनेस भी अच्छा चल रहा है हमारा तो and that's how we came to know कि बाकी किसी का नहीं अच्छा चल रहा है. So we, I think, put out more focus on our B2B section and we were doing all okay. But then September
The
11th,
model was the same.
yeah, model was same. We started to push. हमने बॉम्बे में ऑफिस खोलना शुरू किया, चेन्नई में ऑफिस खोलना शुरू किया, hire more people, took more office space, and everything was doing well. And finally, we were feeling कि यार ऑफिस स्पेस करते करते मधु विहार में we had gone from one building to three buildings and three different buildings in 99 2000 in 2001 time frame, and we were like almost 100 people, um, and the business was booming. So we said that we want to now want a bigger space, and so हमने अपने घर के लिए एक जमीन ली थी, वो भी बेच बाच करके और लोन वगैरह ले करके नोएडा में एक ऑफिस की जमीन खरीद ली, आप मतलब पुरानी बिल्डिंग पुरानी फैक्ट्री खरीद ली। एंड ये हुआ कि उसको रेनोवेट करके हम एक बड़ा ऑफिस बना लेंगे, बिकॉज एवरी 6 महीने में हर छठे महीने नया ऑफिस ले पाना बड़ा मुश्किल काम है। And that was around August September of 2001. I was I was going to evening classes, we took loan, and then September 11 happened, and World Trade Center पे attack हो गया, and overnight my business fell down by 50%.
बिकॉज एक्सपोर्टर्स को लगा कि अब एक्सपोर्ट बिजनेस
बिल्कुल
नहीं।
एक्सपोर्टर्स को,
अच्छा।
बिकॉज मतलब मेरे को इतना कैंसिलेशन आ गया कि मेरा बंद कर दो, मेरा रिन्यू मत करो, जस्ट लाइक जैसे अभी कोविड हुआ था ना।
हाँ हाँ हाँ, राइट राइट राइट, ओके।
तो अचानक से मेरे यहाँ पे, इफ यू वुड हैव सीन आवर क्वार्टर रिजल्ट, वी हमारे पास 1.5 लाख के आसपास कस्टमर थे, 1,47,000 कस्टमर थे, एंड विद इन अ मंथ और टू 15,000 कस्टमर ने बोला कि हमें नहीं काम कराना है आगे।
And these were like repeat paying customers. You were selling a subscription service.
Yeah, we were selling subscription service. We have always been selling a subscription service or advertisement service. So most of them said that मेरा पैसा वापस कर दीजिए या मुझे आगे नहीं काम कराना है और I can't pay you money. और जिन्होंने ऑर्डर दे रखे थे उन्होंने भी पैसे देने बंद कर दिए। So imagine हमने 10 अगस्त 31 अगस्त को उसकी रजिस्ट्री कराई थी, 1 सितंबर को उसका 10 सितंबर को उसका भूमि पूजन था, एंड 11 सितंबर को ये हो गया। अब now we had a loan of 50 lakh rupees, business was down. So I think that was the time, and so I left my MBA, कि यार अभी MBA तो नहीं कर सकते कुछ ये सब. So I think we put more focus on cost cutting and or cost control. Cutting तो क्या ही कर सकते थे, ये रहा. So I think that was the time that taught us everything. But the business continued to grow. उसके बाद करीब 6 महीने तक या साल भर तक business नहीं grow हुआ. I remember that was the only year when our business grew the least, from 2.81 crores to 3.25 crores.
Okay, but it was still growing.
Yeah, I mean we were way too small, probably towards the end of 2002. But then the Afghanistan war happened. US attacked Afghanistan. So I think that 2002 was the worst year, for Indian economy point of view also. But then from 2000, because we got our office finally made, and at that point of time we made this 18,000 square feet single large sprawling building of a .com company. That became our signature piece, because 2000 में और 2001 में it had become कि जैसे .com वाले लोग ना वो फ्लाई बाय नाइट ऑपरेटर होते हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि इतने सारे खुले थे 99 में, 2000 में, और इतने सारे बंद हो गए 2000 में। सो .com में कोई अपने बच्चे को जॉब नहीं करने देता था, .com से कोई आदमी मतलब सेल्स कॉल नहीं लेता था। सो .com had become like a taboo.
हाँ, बदनाम हो गया था।
हाँ, ये .com है। तो so we would then bring customers to our office and say that, sir आप आओ मेरा ऑफिस देखो एक बार, and our office became the showcase. And from then on, I think the ball started to roll, and we became in the export-import marketplace, and IndiaMART as a marketplace became very super hit from that perspective. I think next several years was more about sales and customer service and everything. So we grew from that 2-3 crore rupees to 1,000 customers to 10,000 customers in 2006. That's when we completed about 10 years and about 18 crores of revenue. All was going very good, and we were 100% export focused business. Somewhere around after that, 2007 or so, we started to feel domestic economy also taking up shape. And a lot of Indian people started to come to our portal as a buyer or as a seller, which exporters didn't like. Exporters said, "ये Indian inquiry हमको नहीं चाहिए." At the same time, so this domestic economy started to grow very well. And then, towards the end of 2007, the rupee became very strong at 38 rupees per hour per dollar. From 45 rupees per dollar, it became, and export started to become unviable. Mm, China had become a super hit in exports. So that 2007-8 as a year was very different. Many things happened. Indian economy started to grow very well. Indian economy grew like 8% or so during those years. Indian domestic internet ecosystem had become reliable enough. मोबाइल पे 2G इंटरनेट वार स्टार्ट हो गया था यहाँ पे. एप्पल आईफोन हैड जस्ट लॉन्च्ड. Alibaba had done an IPO in China and became a $17 billion company, $17 billion marketplace company, market cap company. Um, and exports started to kind of taper off. Earlier, exports were growing like 25% year on year for India. The exports didn't grow in 2007-8. So we said that we at IndiaMART, me and Brajesh sat down and said that now we would like to focus on domestic economy, and this time we will probably for the first time we will raise money externally. Though we had about 25 crore rupees in bank, which we had saved over these many years. So but we said, no, no, this time we would want to raise a external funding. We would want to focus on domestic economy. We would want to focus on mobile. Uh, so, by the end of 2008, in the middle of again a carnage, when the entire world was reeling under stock market crash, we raised $10 million from Intel Capital. So actually, the money came in on 28th November 2008, which was the lowest day of stock market in
Okay.
in that decade.
Okay.
So we raised 49 crore rupees. So rupee went up to 49 rupees per dollar. So we raised $10 million, 49 crore rupees. And over the next year, 2009, we started to re-engineer our business for uh, domestic B2B.
One thing I want to ask here, वो Intel Capital से fundraise के लिए, like how did that happen? Like, typically वो fundraise is like one of the big challenges for founders. Of course आप उस time पे ऐसी company चला रहे थे जो 10 साल से चल रही थी, but फिर भी like was it challenging? How did that happen?
So I can tell you some. So between 2004 and 2007, off and on, people used to come to us. Various venture capitals would come to us, and since we were a profitable company, we were generating 4-5 crores of cash flow per year. So we were like, ठीक है, मतलब मिल जाएगा तो ठीक है, नहीं मिलेगा तो ठीक है. मतलब we were like not very heavily interested. But I think the number of venture capitals kept coming to us. Uh, but then, as the Alibaba IPO happened, and as Alibaba, from a 3 billion market cap went to 17 billion market cap in September 2007, uh, I think I had a flurry of VC inbound requests. So over the next 2-3 months, we had too many inbound VC requests.
Basically everyone wanted to have the
B2B,
chance to
yeah,
fund.
B2B, because we were being called as the next Alibaba of India or something. So we were fortunate enough that we got a lot of inbound interest and a good valuation and everything. It's just that the entire 2008, while we said yes to VC, the paperwork took 6 months and the market kept on melting, 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 melting.
Yeah, okay.
So I remember we had to renegotiate some of the conditions or some of the uh, valuation, etc. Uh, but that was okay, so we raised this 49 crore. We already had 25 crores, so we had about 75 crores in the bank. But and we had never become a cash negative, you know so we were a कैश पॉजिटिव बिजनेस 10 करोड़ रुपए 8-10 करोड़ रुपए साल का हम जनरेट करने लग गए थे we set up a board. I remember Saryu Srinivasan, who was the person who was leading from Intel side, along with Sudhir Kuppam. So she became our person from Intel Capital, and she said कि आपको board पे कौन से लोग चाहिए. So Brijesh said कि मुझे नचिकेत मोर चाहिए. I said कि मुझे संजीव बिखचंदानी चाहिए, because Sanjeev had the IPO. So she actually reached out to both the people, and fortunately she got Nachiket more. And Sanjeev said that I can't, because I'm a listed company. I don't want to become a executive board member, non-executive board member at any other internet company. But I am already on the board of Make My Trip. Why don't you talk to Deep Kalra? She reached out to Deep Kalra, and Deep Kalra happily agreed to become our board member. Um, she also had a connection with Mr. P.N. Vijay. P.N. Vijay was an ex SBI and ex City banker who used to run askpnvijay.com. So we had set up a very good board in 2009 because of the Intel Capital help, especially Sarish Srinivasan help. So we had Nachiket Moore, Deep Kalra, and PN Vijay as our board members, and me and Brajesh, two are the founders. And then, so I think over the year 2009, we decided to kind of uh, focus on domestic business, focus on sales, focus on improving our product for domestic B2B. But we didn't we were very cautious. We would not go on and make losses. We would not expand. So by the end of 2009, uh, march March 10, we grew by hardly 20%, or so from a collection of about 50 crore rupees, 55 crore rupees, to maybe 60-65 crore rupees. And I remember very well when Nachiket More said, and we boasted that now we have 100 crore rupees in bank. So 50 we raised, 50. So Nachiket said, what would you do with this 100 crore rupees if you can't grow? If you are growing at 20%, you have to grow at 100% and like that. So I said, yeah, and we were always like, जो भी sales हम करेंगे, जो भी, so we were a very conservative business, uh, because our product was good. So I took this challenge that now अब तो हम sales करके ही रहेंगे. So we were doing like 400-500 new customers every month, and we took a challenge कि अब इसको 10x करना है. And I remember in the year 2010, from January to December, in 52 weeks, I opened up 52 offices across, 35 cities in India.
Wow. And for every office, you would personally travel and
And for most of them, I personally travel, find the location, find the office, get the furniture, hire the people, and one every week. Every Tuesday, one new office has to be inaugurated.
wow. That must have been a tough year.
Yeah, I mean, that must have been, and we grew our employee strength from say 800 to almost like 4,000.
Okay. And most of these would be sales skill. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also grew our sales from 500 sales per month to almost like 5,000 sales per month. So I think, and we just did sales in that year. So I think that was and we became a from 60 crore to 100 crore rupees company, and then 100 crore to 135 crore rupees company in terms of collections. So we started to grow, big time in the year 2010, 2011. But as the luck would have it, and we were on a spree to raise another large round of money. Uh, but as the luck would have it, these customers that we brought in, uh, a lot of them became very unhappy. because we were just selling, but we were not really understanding the domestic business properly. We were trying to replicate whatever we were doing for international business, the same business we were trying to replicate domestically, with few functions here and there, but in general we became a very sales obsessed company. Uh, Anybody who could not do sales was fired as an employee. Uh, so we became a very brash company, unlike in the previous decade where we were a very employee centric company. Uh, no employee would ever leave, no customer would ever leave. No customer service and employees were like our value system. Uh, and in the middle of that, this large fundraising that we were doing, we were almost all, they walked away.
Why did they walk away?
They walked away because they asked me one simple question, that whether you want to correct this current mess, or whether you want to grow this further, because I had read a lot about this scale and size and threshold, and उसके बाद मार्केट प्लेस अपने आप चलने लगेगा, जिस तरह से आज होता है आजकल आजकल मूव फास्ट ब्रेक थिंग्स.
Right. Okay, okay.
So I said, नहीं नहीं, अभी we have done 50,000. So from 10,000 15,000 customer we became to 50,000 customer in 2 years. And I said, no, we have to first become 100,000 paying customers, and then we'll 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 look at these things.
हाँ, बट ये मतलब सबको पता था कि कस्टमर्स खुश नहीं है, लाइक आपके इन्वेस्टर्स को भी पता था कि कस्टमर्स खुश नहीं है.
They did some survey, etc., and they also came to know that many of them are not happy. I mean, many of them were happy also, but many of them were not happy. And so I told them that let us first go to 100,000 customer, and then we'll actually fix all of this. And that didn't gel with them, uh, and which was the right thing to do for them, and which was the very good thing that happened to me. I was left. We were burning. We were losing 5 crore a month. So from 100 crore rupees, our cash balance has come down to 25 crore rupees in these 2 years. We from a revenue of 60 crore rupees, we went to 135 crore rupees. So we were doing 10 crore rupees per month revenue. वो भी सारा खर्च हो रहा था, और उसके अलावा 5 crore रुपए महीने और खर्च हो रहे थे कैश से. and and we were left with less than 6 months of cash runway, and this new 100 crore funding walked away. I think that is the best thing that had happened to us. मतलब उस 6 महीने में मैंने इतना कुछ सीख लिया, एंड उस 6 महीने में नहीं, उसके बाद और 1 साल में 18 महीने में आई थिंक आई गॉट बैक टू बेसिक. आई उस छः और 18 महीने में मैंने कम से कम 3 बार गांधी पिक्चर दोबारा देखी होगी.
वाओ, ओके. मतलब यू वर लुकिंग फॉर इंस्पिरेशन.
आई वॉज लुकिंग फॉर कहाँ गलत हो गया, क्या गलत हो गया. एंड आई वॉज लुकिंग टू गो बैक टू वैल्यू सिस्टम, कि नहीं यही सही. जो मतलब उसमें ये था कि इवन वन सिंगल ड्रॉप ऑफ पॉइजन कैन टर्न द एंटायर जार ऑफ नेक्टर इनटू पॉइजन. गांधी वाज लाइक वेरी कि एक जगह पे भी अगर वायलेंस हुई है, so it can't be called a non-violent movement. And Nehru kept on, and many other leaders kept on saying कि sir, this is our movement, and अंग्रेज डर गए हैं और अब वो चले जाएंगे. But Gandhi called off that movement. So I became like very obsessed with the customer service and employee service in that year, and cost structure. So within 3 months we again became cash positive. So from 5 crore rupees negative within 3 months we became cash positive by the end of
But
2012.
yeah, how did you do that? Like, did you lay off people? Did you close offices?
We never laid off people. We always said क्योंकि attrition बहुत होता है sales में. We stopped hiring people. We just stopped hiring people, and there was a lot of things being wasted and all that. So not that we stopped growing and all, but we just stopped hiring people. So do less with the do more with the existing set of people. And we started to look at every process. We started to look at every quality parameter. We started to look at customer satisfaction, customer tickets. What happens is when you throw money and when you throw people at the problem, multiple money also gets wasted, and a lot of people do the duplicate work. कि मेरा काम यहाँ से यहाँ तक था, फिर उसने उसको आगे पास ऑन कर दिया, उसने उसको आगे पास ऑन कर दिया. So actually you end up spending lot more money and people when you don't have a very set process in re-engineering person, or a customer satisfaction person, or a employee satisfaction person. So small things get ignored at multiple levels. So entire 2012 was a very formative year for us. We learned few things, what kind of people to hire. So fortunately for us, one of my friends, Dinesh Gulati, who was also my batchmate at HBTI, he was a part of Airtel and Reliance Infocom as a CEO. He had recently shifted to Delhi, and we met, and he joined IndiaMART in the February March 2012. and and that year we corrected so many things. So the entire 2012, we did a lot of corrections, lot of product innovations, meeting with customer, understanding what small things they were facing, how internet can help them, how it works better on mobile. I think that entire 2012 was a formative year. We redraw the value system. Because whatever we were doing as an export business until 2008-9 was a wonderful business. We never lost customer, we never lost people. We had a very good reputation. Uh, but whatever we built just on the back of the money in the 2010, 11, 12. um, 10 and 11, I guess 10 and 11 was didn't have the entire value system, because we didn't know how to build a business by way of scaling up by way of money. We only knew the brick by brick way of doing things. We didn't know, when you do brick by brick of doing things, you don't have to set up too many processes in a hurry. And that's what has happened with many other companies. If I can't name them, but so many companies, if you see in the previous decade, who have raised a lot of money and then expanded quickly and then also vanished quickly. I mean, there are some great stories around that, how so we work kind of stories, or housing kind of stories. And so I think we also did similar mistake, but I think the only good part was that because of our 15 years of running a business big by big, we knew how to go back to big by big. So that's what we did. Mm, and from 2000, and economy also went into a tailspin, because in 2012 and 13, I think the economy was as bad as 2019. We were back to less than 5% GDP growth. March 2013 GDP growth rate was like 4.5%. So economy was bad, and we were also. But when you do, and this resembles, we did a lot of good things in 2001 too, when the economy was very bad. We did some of the very good things in 2012-13 when the economy was very bad, and we are again doing some of the great things in 2019-20 when the economy is too bad. And that's why we know we now have learned that when the economies are bad, that is the time to innovate, and that is the time to actually tighten your belt and increase the stakes in terms of processes and product improvements and all that, because that is the time you don't have the luxury of being loose or being easy. So I think by the beginning of the 2014, we found our product market fit at IndiaMart, uh, because during the 12th and 13, we were struggling to find a product market fit or a growth at IndiaMart. We had also started to see that a lot of e-commerce growth was had to start to happen. So one thought was that, is it because the entire lead gen business model or advertising as a business model is going to go down, go dead, and will the entire world is moving from discovery to delivery? Because there was too much of a hype between 2011 and 2015 around this e-commerce.
And there was this industry buying and
Not only industry buying, not only industry fashion and you to से लेकर के let's buy से लेकर के मिंत्रा से लेकर सभी कुछ फ्लिपकार्ट से लेकर. So and our customers had also started to say that why can't we set up a system where IndiaMart can help us procure directly rather than so on one side, between 2012 and 13, on one side we were correcting things at IndiaMart. On the other side, we set up a business called Tolexo, which was on the lines of Granger.com or Granger Industrial Products or AmazonSupply.com. Amazon Supply as a business happened at that point of time, similar to what industry buying. So we set up. We said that since Dinesh Gulati was here now, we could spare Brajesh from India Mart to take care of this new initiative called Tolexo. And so somewhere in 2013, this whole business was thought over, and in 2014, Tolexo was trying to build a scale up solution of the e-commerce. So in 2014, there were again two diverse things that were happening. One, IndiaMart started to do well on the back of improvements that were done in 2012 and 13. And Tolexo started to do well on the back of this whole e-commerce thing, because at IndiaMart we didn't have prices, we didn't have product specification. We were more like a classified listing website. At Tolexo, it was all like everything was like every product with a specification, photos, and then payment and delivery. So everything was there. But we could do that only for few categories, because you can't do that on IndiaMart. You have like uh, 50, 50 industries, one lakh categories. You can imagine the name and item, and you will have it on IndiaMart. We take pride in saying that if you can't find it on IndiaMart, probably it has not yet come to internet in India.
okay, okay, yeah,
if,
yeah.
if a new product will appear somewhere on internet in India, uh, it will definitely be found on IndiaMart. So so on one side, this 2014-15, Tolexo started to do great. IndiaMart also started to do well. But then we realized that Tolexo is, this whole e-commerce is a loss-making business, because one, uh, we were unnecessarily spending way too much money on the marketing, which was not to be spent on IndiaMart, because IndiaMart had an inherent search engine optimization. There were so many people automatically coming to IndiaMart. Two, Tolexo could focus, because it has to do everything. It had to do, the, the product specification and everything. It could only do very few categories or very slow expansion into the number of categories. Three, B2B logistics were a negative value add at that point of time. Trying to do B2B logistics the way B2C logistics are done. See, work. home delivery is a new concept altogether. Business deliveries are a 100-year-old or 500-year-old concept. So business deliveries are well sorted. It is the home delivery which was the new concept which was being sorted out, and we were unnecessarily trying to do uh, apply the concepts of home delivery to business delivery. Three Tolexo could only handle off the shelf product.
Customized products were not
It could
possible.
not have handled a customized product. It could not handle truckload of the things. So we realized that whatever we are doing at Tolexo, if we could do that on IndiaMART and leave out the delivery part, let the delivery be fixed between the buyer and seller, because every category has a very different delivery mechanism, very different order. Post order mechanism is very different in every category. It can't be same for a crane, it can't be same for a cement, and it can't be same for a headphone, and it can't be same for a mobile cover. So but the good thing was we realized that people needed prices, people needed photos, people needed specifications, people needed videos. So people needed trust. So we started to, we somewhere in 2016, and we started to feel the pinch of doing this in the 2016 itself, beginning itself. But final nail in the head happened around demonetization. Post demonetization, we decided that we need to wind up Tolexo as a e-commerce business and merge that entire thing into IndiaMART. That further worked as wonders, because now IndiaMART became a zero commission marketplace without delivery.
Where people could list products, upload videos, upload photos.
They could interact with each other. They could buy. So today we are a largest price discovery platform for any product in India. Matlab, whether it is a medicine, whether it is a component, whether it is a raw material. And in the last 4 or 5 years, we have got more mentioned about because of the prices of unique products than anything else. So when there is a news that Pradhan Mantri eats shiitake mushroom imported from Korea, uh, price of that is quoted from IndiaMart. when when somebody says there is a shortage of smog gun to reduce the pollution, the price of smog gun is quoted from IndiaMart. I think so IndiaMart became a destination of choice after merger of the Tolexo business model and IndiaMart business model. Except that you can instead of say that buy now and do, and nobody wanted to do a payment of a crane on using credit card. So you won't imagine if Amazon's or Flipkart's average order value is 15 $16 or say 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees. If Udan is so called a B2B platform, its average order value is 60 $70, which is like 5 6,000 rupees. India Mart's average order value is $500 600, which is like 35 40,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees. And when I think the we found that the B2B has a much better role to play with the conversational commerce rather than the plain vanilla e-commerce. And I think the rest is while demonetization forced people to learn digital adoption, geo happened. And when something like a geo happened, or when something like a domestic B2B happened, I think people who had a ready made who were ready with to take the opportunity or to to exploit the opportunity benefited. So when mobile happened, since we did a lot of work during 2012, 13, 14 to make sure that our product works nicely on mobile, nicely on mobile app, nicely. I think when the Geo happened, we got a lot of flip or a lot of benefit. And the same happened in 2020 when the COVID happened. Our our traffic grew by 40% in the quarter of July, August, September.
Wow, because people were not going to markets; they were instead searching online.
Yeah, and we played a lot of role during March, April, May to make sure that किसी ने पीपी किट का नाम भी नहीं सुना था इंडिया में. Nobody knew what was a face mask. Nobody knew, and we called every supplier of a paper bag that can you make a face mask. We called every supplier of helmet. Can you make a face shield? We called every so we actually worked to make sure that the supplies are available.
बट आपको ये इंट्यूशन था कि इसकी दैट दिस इज गोना बी दिस बैड, या यू हैड डेटा शोइंग यू कि इसकी सर्चेस बढ़ रही है?
We had data showing us, from February itself, we had started to see the cost of, the inquiries of these items shooting up like anything because the China got disrupted. But we couldn't really act on that data before the lockdown because उसके बाद दिवाली होली की छुट्टी हो गई and होली के बाद when we came back, it was like for 25 years we never had a work from home, and suddenly next 5 days we had to shift everybody to work from home, shut down the call center and everything, and that's like a complete new experience on its own.
How did you manage that? Like, thousands of people who come to office, instead of that, they have to work from home.
I think being a so we didn't do work from home, not because we could not do work from home. We I can tell you one simple example that it's been from 2011. I don't have a dedicated computer or a dedicated laptop of my own. I I have a computer on my desk in my office. I have a computer at home. I have an iPad in my bag, and I can log in from anywhere, any computer in the world, and work as effectively as a CEO without having a dedicated computer. So all our business anyway runs on cloud. We don't have any servers in our office. I entire our ERP system and everything. We always, because if we were hosting others website, why not host our own internal website or intranet or extranet inside our office. So we had everything already work from in the setting up already in the work from home culture. It's only the calling systems that the call used to land to the customers, to the people using call center or using EPBX. That was the only thing that we needed to manage, because that now had to land to their mobile numbers at their home. So that was the only big piece that we needed to handle. That how do we handle calling? Other than that, all our software, all our internal software, all our servers, everything was anyway on the cloud.
Did you like form a thesis that remote work is good for long term? Yeah, it's not something which you want to do long term.
So one thing we realized that calling everybody to, especially all the sales people to the local offices, all places. For example, in Delhi itself, we had 12 different branches, or Mumbai, we had 8, 9 branches, and everybody was required to come every day in the morning and evening to report at the office. Though they had to go directly to their client, though they had most of the work to be done, either calling the customer or going to the client premises. I think we realized that has no value or very little value. You could do that probably coming once a week and doing a training session or a meeting session or a review session, rather than everybody trying to come every day in the morning and evening to report back to the office. And I think we found that to be definitely gone.
So we didn't talk about the IPO.
So IPO first time uh, around 2014-15 uh, when and so the IPO dream was to do in 2001 2, but then 2001 2 I told you one that whole September 11 happened, and then we were probably getting to IPO ready in 2007 6 7 after a very good runway of 5 years when the product market fit was there. And then this export business almost vanished, and the whole technology started to change to mobile. Then again in 2014-15, when at one point of time IndiaMART was also doing well and Tolexo was also doing well, we thought of doing an IPO. But then Tolexo needed money very fast, and IPO was a little bit time taking. So we said that okay, let us raise another round of private money, PE money, to put in Total Exo, because we didn't want to time the IPO. IPO couldn't, takes its own time, 9 months to 1 year. So and it also depends on the external market. So we raised the only second round that we raised as a private equity was one in 2008, and the second one is 2016, 15, 16, 15 end. So the IPO, finally we thought of doing the IPO in 2017-18, and we started to prepare for that from 1st January of 18. By June of 2018, we filed the DRHP. The idea was that we'll get over the IPO by October November, Diwali around. We did the entire roadshow, meeting investors between July to September, October. From my last meeting, when I came back to India, the market started crashing, based upon the ILFS crisis, and so so IPO was again postponed. But then our numbers kept on doing well. So our December numbers were okay, our March numbers were okay, and we said,
How much did you do as your top line that year?
yeah. So March 19, we did about 510 crore rupees revenue from operations, and about total revenue from operations and other income 548 crores. March 20. Uh, and March 19, we did 28% revenue growth and everything. So we said we are not waiting for market to improve. And the election, it was election time. We went on to the second roadshow, and we were the first IPO immediately after the election. So we got listed in on 4th of July. Fortunately, we got listed on 4th of July 2019, and 4th of July happened to be my grandfather's birthday.
Wow, that is so symbolic.
Yeah, that's so symbolic. I actually remembered that day, that oh, today's father's birthday. So I mean, ringing the bell in National Stock Exchange that day, felt that his blessings and his teachings had come live, and I had paid a great. It was a great tribute to my grandfather. So we, an IPO was a, see, all is good in the IPO. I think the entire price discovery mechanism in IPO is not, I would not say that it's up to mark, because you see most of the IPOs, they say that there is a price discovery, but their prices move big time after the IPO, either on the negative side or on the positive side. That simply tells you that the price discovery is not right. If the and it is world over a problem, but in India it is far more a problem, and it unnecessarily eats up a lot of time. I maybe because of that is the reason a lot of people are doing private route or SPAC rounds and things like that. But IPO is a great uh, it's a great experience in itself. You meet hundreds of these very qualified investors. You know how to tell your own business, tell your own story of ups and downs within that 45 minutes. that gives you a lot of clarity. Every quarter you need to interact with investors, do an investment call. It brings a lot of discipline. It brings a lot of liquidity to yourself and to your employees, and a lot of pride. I can tell you around 14% of our equity is held by employees of IndiaMART, either as ESOP or shares gifted in the past. So 14-15% at today's value, which is like 20,000 crore rupees market cap, which became yesterday. Uh, that works out to be almost like 3,000 crore rupees wealth created for employees only, and that's about for 500, 600 employees. So for 500 employees, about 3,000 crore rupees wealth got created. So IPOs are great wealth creators. But IPOs don't create wealth on them own. You have to, your company has to perform, because IPOs can be very rewarding and can be very punishing. So I think we have been lucky, and we have got a very good team, and we have got people who have who believe in the vision of digital India, who believe in the vision of you know making it easier to do business in India, and who believe in the vision of respecting each other's views openly, and criticizing what is right or what is wrong. I think so. We have got a very team which is very open work culture team. So I think I've been very lucky to have team. I still have some of my earliest employees. Uh, Out of the 4,000 odd employees that we have directly on our payroll today, uh, close to 800 people are more than 5 years with us, and close to 150 people, or more than 150 people, are more than 10 years with us. There are people who are working with us for more than 15 years. So our top team of 20-25 people has people who are working with us for 20 years, and who are working with us for 2 years. So we have a very good mix of old and new culture gelling. That's what, and I think we continue to solve problems for India. Today, we believe that almost close to 1% of Indian GDP flows through IndiaMART.
So, what is your future plan for the listed organization now? I mean, so like, say when InfoEdge got listed, it eventually became a holding company of multiple startups. Is that something which you also have in mind, or like what is your
We don't know.
roadmap?
Every company takes its own path, and I don't know whether InfoEdge was initially planned like that. I think InfoEdge was initially planned like a string of pearls, that हम आपको पहले पढ़ाई कराएंगे, फिर हम आपको जॉब दिलाएंगे, फिर हम आपको शादी कराएंगे, फिर हम आपकी मकान दिलाएंगे, like that. But I think that took a little time, and in fact, Naukri business continued to generate good amount of cash, which they were fortunate to invest during the downturn of 2008, 9, 10, in two great companies that turned out to be two great companies like Zomato and Policy Bazaar. However, they have invested now into 40, 50 companies. So, uh, they are a great company, and and every company follows a very different path. Uh, we we as a company, we still think that we need to create an ecosystem for business in India. We need to focus on trusted product discovery and product delivery, and software as a service. I continue to believe that still people do not make software for small businesses and medium-sized businesses. The softwares are made mostly for desktop software. People haven't yet realized the power of this mobile computer that everybody has in hand. After some time, when people will be bored of using WhatsApp and YouTube mm, and other communication and information and entertainment channel, why should not a Dudwala have a software? Why should not a chai wala, newspaper wala has his software. So as you have the hardware, as you know the how to use the hardware, and India is emerging, is a very young country. At 50% of India is today less than 30 years of age, uh, and these are the people who are the future of India, future of our nation, and which are digitally literate people. India has the lowest data charges, or that is going to be anywhere in the world. I think it's going to be more or less like free. So a lot of things can be done using artificial intelligence, machine learning. We generate a lot of data. Uh, so I think a partnering, investing, acquisition, all of that will evolve over a period of time. We have done just two investments so far. One of the companies we have invested is called Vyapar. Vyapar is a mobile-based self-accounting software, and they have grown leaps and bound. We have taken 26% in them at some point of time. Another company we have invested is Bizome or Mobisi. They develop software for this sales force of dealer distributors of large brands. So, so we will. I think we will continue to focus on providing solutions and softwares which make it easier to do business in the connected world of tomorrow. We will continue to make it easier to do transactions and to do, you know, so I think one side is the business automation, another side is the business generation, and the third side is the finance and credit. So we'll continue to explore various opportunity in various things, and hopefully every company finds a path which is very unique to its own.
Okay. 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 Amazing. So, any final message that you want to leave for young aspiring founders?
Uh, I mean, I'm no guru on no coach, but I think some of the learnings that I have had is it takes much longer than you think. Everybody thinks that things can be changed big time in 3 to 5 years. It probably takes more, 7 to 10 years. Uh, when you think that you are almost reaching to the first your goal, there are external factors which change. And as I said, told you, in our case, many a times due to external or internal forces, we had to reset our goals and reimagine our offering and reimagine our thought process. So it is important that you don't think of it as a as a money lottery or anything. You do this because you love this, and you will probably continue to do this for the rest of your life. You may start up with a 5 year target, but I don't think it's a 5 year target. It's a lifelong journey. Because even if you started with the money in the mind, you will probably by the time you will make money, you will not have any use of that.
So that was Dinesh Agarwal sharing the amazing journey of IndiaMart full of ups and downs. Check out the marketplace at IndiaMart.com. And if you're as inspired as I am, then you can actually become a co owner of IndiaMart by investing in the shares of the company.
You like the Founder Thesis podcast? Then do check out our other shows on subjects like marketing, technology, career advice, books, and drama. Visit thepodium.in, that is thepodium.in, for a complete list of all our shows.